Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Yukon Planning Commission for this month. It's 7 p.m., time to begin our meeting. We will start with the invocation led by Commissioner Baker, followed by the flag salute led by Commissioner Davis. Please stand.
Lord, we ask that you provide guidance and wisdom as we go through tonight's agenda. May we do the best that we can for the people of Yukon and Oklahoma. Please be with our firemen and first responders and our personnel stationed overseas. We also ask that you bring the enlightened and peaceful respect for others that only you can bring to our nation at this time. Pray in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Address the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please, Kathy.
Chairman Taylor?
Here.
Commissioner Davis?
Here.
Commissioner Hatley?
Here.
Commissioner Baker?
Here.
Commissioner Gerba?
Item 1 is the approval of the minutes of July 10th, 2017 meeting. Y'all have seen the notes. Do you have any corrections or additions, or do I have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move that we adopt the minutes as posted.
I'll second.
Motion and second to accept the minutes. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Hatley?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Chairman Taylor?
Yes. Next is the visitor section. Is there anyone here that would like to address the commission about a non-agenda item? Now would be the time to step forward. Seeing none, we will continue. Item 3 is to hear a request by Shelley Thompson on a conditional use permit to permit a library of board games and card games to rent and play on site, along with selling board games located at Lot 1, Block 1, Carson Edition, in addition to the City of Yukon, Canadian County, better known as 10 West Main, Site 200. Yes, would you state your name and address, please?
Shelley Thompson.
You'll have to speak up.
Shelley Thompson.
Address?
My home address,
Uh-huh.
12609 Arrowhead Drive, Oklahoma City, 73120.
Thank you. Tell us about your request.
Well, we have a very large board gaming community in Oklahoma City, Edmond, and Moore, and Piedmont, and out in Guthrie as well. And a lot of them are online and have groups and pages through Facebook where they get together and they meet. We have groups that volunteer each week just to show up with tons of games like these. Not anything that you're going to see on the store shelves at Walmart or Target or anything like that, but just very good quality board games that's so much more than like old time Monopoly and Uno. And they will come out and teach them, just a time for family and community to be together and have face-to-face time. And in our digital age, there's a lot of electronics going on. Sometimes it's hard to get people to interact with each other. And so this is bringing back a love of tabletop gaming for our community. And I feel like Yukon is probably the best place to do that. You guys do so many things that involve the community directly. And so I think that this would be a good way to support that.
How large a place do you anticipate having? How many tables or so forth?
Right now we have seating for 50 people, and because we are behind the event center, if we wanted to have a tournament, which they have several tournaments, a lot of our people are right now driving to Tulsa almost every weekend for tournaments that they could be having here in town, and that's something that we could be holding right in the event center.
Commissioners, questions?
Are there any other of these in Oklahoma City?
Not in Oklahoma City. Boxcar in Moore, they added theirs with a gourmet coffee shop, so it's a little bit in between a Starbucks and a Barnes & Noble's. But the boarding house out in Guthrie, they started out as a mobile unit and then became brick and mortar within 6 months, and they've expanded twice. And they are also on Main Street.
That's the age ranges.
The actual age ranges that are the target market for this start at about 19 and go to about 40.
Will you be offering any type of refreshments or anything in there that you'll be selling?
Well, with what's the word I'm looking for?
Prepackaged?
Yes, at this point, we're doing prepackaged food. So until we add a kitchen later on, that's something that's in our phase 2 development that we would like to do. Probably would be looking at a pizza oven with toasting subs and pizzas and pastas, basically. But for now, we'll be doing some prepackaged food and some canned drinks.
So will you be selling these games if people, you'll be offering them for sale also?
Yes, sir. We have a small section of the store that is sectioned off that is all retail. We also have an online subscription box where if a family wants to have a monthly board game service, this is something that Hasbro has started as well, but of course they'd be limited to Hasbro games, whereas we have every other kind of game that there is out there, and there's a lot of good distributors. And then we have a library section where you would just come out and play the tabletop games.
Can you rent them and take them home, or
You rent them and play them there,
there?
is actually what you do.
So do you have used games that you sell, or are they all brand new?
No, the retail ones will be all brand new.
Okay.
But everything that we have in the retail store will also have that plus more in our library as well.
Interesting. We've got a virtual gaming facility down there, and so this would be just opposite of that.
It is the opposite. DC Comics is doing this as well, and also Game HQ. So
In
there's
Oklahoma
in Oklahoma City. So there's a few places that are starting to come into this and starting to meet this need.
So you'd actually have to face people and talk to them and everything, right?
Right.
So,
Wow.
looking at the,
That's a unique.
what we call Snyder's,
Yeah.
are you to the west of the chamber office, or are you on the side of the local? Which side of the building?
We are actually in the back.
Yeah, the local is on the far end from
Right.
us, and we're in the back corner.
On that end, on the local end?
Where the loading dock used to be.
Yes.
Okay.
So you actually go around behind the building? They've
Yes,
got-
sir.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know they had anything there.
So you don't enter from the front at all to get to you guys, you have to get in from the back?
That's correct.
Okay.
So there's not will there be a door from that inside corridor?
No, not at this time.
So people are gonna have to know where you're at. I mean,
Yes.
Yes, sir.
that'll be a little bit, is there parking back there?
There's a lot of parking back there, and it'll all be ours. We
there any
actually
other-
have a porch and everything. There's stairs and a ramp, handicap ramp.
Any other questions from the commissioners?
Is it gonna be just board games, or are you gonna allow other type of gaming also?
Well, we have anything that's tabletop gaming. So some of it is card games, competitive card games. They have,
So you could do like Magic the Gathering and then some.
yes, sir,
and
we
some
will have
role-playing
Magic the
games
Gathering a
also?
couple nights a
Okay.
week.
You do chess and checkers? and-
Yep.
Okay.
But no dominoes?
I think we do have dominoes
Yes,
there.
that's it, because I think we have about a 300-word statute on dominoes. Believe it or not. Wish I was joking, but.
Okay, is there any other questions for these folks? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion. In the case of the application for a conditional use permit submitted by Shelley Thompson for the Game Face Board Game Lounge, we have read the staff report and received testimony at the public hearing. We find ourselves in agreement with staff findings, including all attachments cited to the staff report. I move that this item be recommended for approval by the city council.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Chairman Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Hatley?
Yes.
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Welcome to Yukon, and thank you. That's a very novel idea, and I hope you have good luck.
Thank you so much.
Item 4 is to hear a request by Jay Baker on behalf of Westmark Investors Limited Liability Corporation for a preliminary plat on the Yukon angle located at 1010 Garth Brooks Boulevard, Yukon, Oklahoma.
Mr. Chairman, on the driveway variances, we'd like to take them separately. We'll let him go ahead and speak, but driveway spacings and stuff, we want to take them separate,
Okay?
and each side would be separate as well.
All right, sir. Please announce your name and address, please.
I'm Rod Baker, and 2800 Northwest 36th Street. We're in agreement with the comments on the staff report for the preliminary plat. We're setting up basically 4 lots on the development. The larger lot being in the middle where we're redeveloping the buildings right now into retail and office. And we have 3 out parcels. So in a case like this, we've got multiple parties that will be involved in that site over a period of time, and needs for multiple access to the site. We requested multiple access for the multiple lots. One of the things we did is we volunteered to incur the cost to move the driveways along Garth Brooks to for the best spacing possible, and also to line up with, for instance, the driveway for Walgreens over there. We think that's a better arrangement, better planning. So we're going to incur that cost to do that. We're investing millions of dollars in that acquisition and redevelopment this time. It's important we be able to accommodate the access we know that the parcel owners are going to request. We've done a lot of multi-use development. We know what people's needs are on these. In the case, we have some separations that are less than code. Other municipalities we've worked in have typically had a requirement of a 200-foot separation between driveways. Ms. Wright may want to address that with her work in other municipalities, but that was what we kind of anticipated that it might be. But we know that there's some differences in what your requirements are here, and we'd just like to get adequate access around the entire site. We have made a request in there for the possibility of some type of a driveway on abandonment, as we know that one driveway that would serve 2 parcels, and as we know that potential users there are going to request that, and so we thought we'd address it at this point in time, just to have the discussion here at the meeting and see what the comments might be.
Okay, Mitchell, I know from visiting with you earlier that we're concerned about this proposed inlet off of abandonment. I was looking at this, so we do have one down here by the post office, sir, is that correct?
Yes, I'll go ahead and address them. The ones on Garth Brooks, we think that is very desirable. Actually, that is moving that south driveway farther north, as well as the north one farther north. We're trying to get it away from the light, so that gives us a little more stacking space. So we agree on the ones on Garth Brooks. The one on the north side on First Place Boulevard, we believe that's probably the best location. You know, we talked with Mr. Baker several times. That's the only location that one on the north will work because of the detention pond. So he's going to be on the east side of the detention pond with that drive, and that's the only way to make that one work.
Okay.
The ones on the west side of First Place Boulevard, we do believe that adding that additional driveway, bringing more traffic onto First Place Boulevard, since it's a less used street, it'd be better to give them an option to get back over to abandonment to the light. The one that we have a concern with right now, and I think we need further talk, is the one access onto abandonment. We feel at this time, with the current traffic and possible future traffic, it needs to be looked at real seriously before we grant a variance on this one. and we'd really like to know the use before we even talk about this driveway. But this is something he could bring back only to the planning commission for review, if city staff feels like it's appropriate at that time. So right now, we'd like for that one not to be granted an exception or variance at this time until we have further time to really look at it real close.
So this other one over here on, across from the bank is the current one with the gate.
That is correct. That is the current one. The one further to the north is the new proposed
Is the
drive.
new one down there.
And yes, and we feel like that's appropriate too. Like I said, First Place Boulevard, as you know, it's not used a whole lot.
Right.
Only for the post office or cutting across for Mid-First Bank.
Correct.
So we'd like to put more traffic onto First Place to allow better ingress and egress to this site.
Possibly other businesses will be along there too, at some point, correct?
First Place Boulevard,
Uh-huh.
I think they propose everything to face onto Vandermont and Yukon, or Garth Brooks, I'm sorry. And the outbuilding in the future, depending on how you lease and stuff, it's my understanding.
Yeah.
You'll
Well,
determine the use at that time, right?
Yeah,
West building?
We're retaining a portion of the buildings. We've basically demolished the middle part, and we've retained the 11,000-foot building along First Place there.
Mhm.
And that's why it's important to have two
Okay.
driveways there. But we're not sure exactly which way that those businesses would face in that building yet. That's,
Mhm.
we're more concerned about getting the front building redeveloped right now.
Okay, commissioners, questions? Do you understand what Mitchell was saying about the entrance off of Vandermont? He wants to wait on that.
So how far exactly is that? I can't quite read that with my, I have my glasses on me, so.
It's roughly about 235 feet from the right-of-way line of Garth Brooks.
But there are several on the south side of Vandermont. One that turns into the bank, one that turns in by the tire shop, one turns in the little alley. there.
Yeah, and those two side by side, they're kind of conflicting drives, and that's one of the things that we want to look at real close, because you got that part that serves AutoZone and back in that shopping center, and then you got the bank right beside it, so they're kind of conflicting movements.
And then there's
It's-
also another one for the tire shop, just a few feet.
Yeah, Big O, it's back farther to the
West.
the west, uh-huh.
Mhm.
And then the daycare, and then the one into Walmart,
Yeah.
And then
the medical building.
and then the medical.
Where's-
We just like further time to look at it and study it and see what our uses may be.
We only want one.
Yeah.
Well, that's.
And we do think this is a viable project. We think it's going to improve the town. Everybody's supportive of this because it's cleaning up something that if not Mr. Baker and his group pick up, it would be an eyesore from here on out. And they are investing a lot of money just on the demo alone, much less putting the stuff back together again. So,
So you're gonna use all 3 stories of the building?
Yes, the plan is for the first floor all to be retail or retail type uses, you know. And then the second and third floors will be office uses. Right now we have somebody that we're working with right now potentially to take the whole second floor and some of the first floor.
Really?
We've had pre-leasing there. It's our most active project, actually. Everybody likes Yukon. Oh, I'm serious. Everybody talks really, really well about this community. They really do.
Yeah. Well, they're correct. Any other questions from the commissioners?
What, have you got any uses for lot 1, 2, and 4?
We haven't signed anybody up yet. But we've talked to a lot of uses though, anywhere from banking to retail to, various types of uses for those.
Maybe another chicken restaurant?
No, no chicken.
No chicken.
Mitch said I couldn't have any chicken in
I'd like to see a high-class restaurant in there.
Yeah. And we've had some good response from some high-quality uses and stuff. You know, so I think we're really concentrating on the main buildings right now. We're not marketing very hard for the out parcels because we just want to spend so much time on the main building.
Further questions?
I do. Still with this drive off of Vandament. So you're wanting to use this to help more ingress and egress for the lots 1 and 2, not necessarily for the retail.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's, I mean, I know that if somebody wants the big lot on the corner, they're gonna want that driveway. So, I mean, I know we'll be back. But, that's just the way, you know, they wanna have, multiple accesses from arterial streets, is what they want.
So you feel that having them get their ingress from
Well,
First Place Boulevard would be too much? You're
we
thinking.
moved the, for the purposes that we talked about, we moved the drive along Garth Brooks further to the north,
Mhm.
you know, which, you know, they have to come through there and go back into their lot that way, you know. And we did that for good reason, but I know it'll affect the way they see access from the major arterial streets. Not that the one from First Place isn't, it's important, because we have a cross-access on this whole site anyway. The way we have the development set up, you can move throughout the development, you know. But when it comes to a major player going on a corner like that, I mean, if you look at any of the other corners you have in town, you know, they have more than one access.
I know.
Well, I think it's reasonable if staff request us to just postpone. I mean, we're not saying we wouldn't do it, but he wants to study it and see what commercial is going to be coming in there, and it seems like it's reasonable
Yeah.
request from our staff. They usually are very business friendly, and we're not saying we wouldn't do it. He just wants to postpone it at this
Do I
time.
have to pay another fee to come back on that, or what is it?
We'll talk about what we can do on that.
Okay.
That's something, if you choose, we could say that this one could come back. We wouldn't charge them for that,
Just
since
for
the
that-
staff
just for
is
that one
asking
issue.
for it. Mhm. Now,
Okay,
you
we-
still have to submit all the application stuff that's needed for it, but we
Okay.
can do that.
Do you have anybody care to read this, or are we finished questioning, or? Ed, why don't you read that?
Well, do we need to eliminate the word Vandament in number 1?
Yes, if you would, please.
All right.
Okay, Ed's going to read the motion.
In the case of the application for a preliminary plat for Westmark Investors LLC, we have read the staff report and received testimony at the public hearing. We find ourselves in agreement with the staff recommendations cited in the staff report. I move that this item be recommended for approval to the City Council following conditions. 1, a variance be granted for driveway separation along Garth Brooks and First Place Boulevards based on existing median breaks and lot configuration. 2, a variance be granted for lot coverage on Lot 3, Block 1 of the proposed plat due to the existence of the large commercial structure central to the site.
Is there a second?
Second?
Do we need to put anything in here, Mr. Attorney, about the fees, or Mitchell has said he would waive those fees, or?
Well, you can clarify it right now if that's the agreement. I would.
Okay, would you like?
I'll add a condition 3 to
Condition.
this. Condition 3 being that no further fee would be assessed for the, for abandonment.
For
The
re-
drive, for re-looking at the abandonment drive.
Okay. Do we have a second now on that?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Chairman Taylor,
Yes?
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Hatley,
Yes.
Commissioner Baker.
Yes.
Excited about this.
We are too. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
It'll be great. Like he said, high-end restaurant would be nice there.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Not chicken.
Yeah.
No more fast food.
Wow. Any new business, Mr.
Mr. Chairman, there's no new business.
Open discussion from the commissioners?
School starts Thursday. Drive safely.
Amen to that. What about staff? Cindy, you have anything for us tonight?
Not tonight.
Mr. Miller?
No, sir, thank you, though.
Seeing no more announcements, we will adjourn to, our meeting next month is a week later than it normally is due to Labor Day. So our next meeting is September the 18th. This meeting's adjourned.